Peace. Today I'm going to talk about the betrayal of Satan and how absolutely a betrayer he really is, and he will always free from his act of betraying you and free himself from you when you follow him. And this will happen throughout your lives. You may not notice it, you might. And it will certainly happen the day we all stand in front of God and he lets this piece of garbage, Satan, tell you what he did. So I'm going to go through 2 verses only and just explain from what I understand and to show you what he's going to say that day. And the other is what he actually does when you obey him, as opposed to when you obey the messengers and the prophets. The messengers are the truthful. They are the ones with the truth. The Satans are always deceiving you or trying to get you to reject God. So let's look at the first place I want to look at this is when the command is finished. And whenever that day is, whether it's each generation with their Satan or the Satan in charge telling them, or the end for sure. So absolutely on the day we all stand in front of God, this will occur. There's no doubt in that. So let's see what the Satan will say when the command is decided. So let's see what his statement is. Surely God promised you, promise the true. So he's going to tell you that day that God's promise was true. He's going to tell you the truth that day. I mean, obviously, because it'll be apparent in front of you, and he's going to mock you, just like everybody else is going to mock you if you followed Satan. And then he say, I promised you, but I deferred to you. So he's going to tell you, I promised you, I deceived you. That's what he's telling you. I mean, he's doing it right now, and he does it in this life as well. If you look, when you follow the wretched deceiver and you get into trouble, or you are no longer worth his trouble, he will free from you. He will turn from you and leave you hanging with all your trust that you gave him. You will cry. And then you will turn to the next Satan who will do the same to you, and the next, until you realize that you're lost. And naught was to me over you from authority, except that I call you. So here he goes. He's telling you the only authority he has is calling you. So everybody who's calling you to do certain things and telling you it's mandatory, you have to do this, it is authority, it's bull crap. All of it is bull crap. You don't have to do anything anyone says, including me. You don't have to say anything anyone says. You must do what you feel is right. But the problem is, you feel the world that you live in, the life of this world, is serious. And that anything you do wrong here will cause your death, when you don't realize death is inevitable. And then what do you say? But you answered to me. See, you're going to answer to him. Yeah? Instead of answering to me, the messenger of God, you're going to answer to the Satan every time. So don't you blame me and blame your souls. Not I with helping you, and not you with helping me. Surely I reject with what you partnered me from before. So you're going to partner with Satan and he's going to reject you. Or you're going to partner with God, Satan with God, because you'll make him God in your hearts. You know, that's how it works. And people say, oh, Satan is the God of this earth. No, Satan is the God of those who believe he is God on earth. He ain't no freaking God. There's only one God. And he's the only one who has absolute authority. Satan has only the authority to call you, and I have the authority to call you. We have the same authority from God. He's calling you to something, and I'm calling you to something. Yeah, obviously there are opposites in this world. I'm telling you, this world is a hoax. It's a joke. It's a game. It's a game show, yeah, which you need to understand, because you're going to die. You know, a game ends. The hereafter will not end like this. You will continue dying forever if you go to the hellfire. There's going to be no escape from that. You are going to continue dying when you're in the hereafter. You're not going to get out of that. and you will not live either. Whereas those who pass this hoax, this life, and understand that it's all a hoax, and they follow the path of God, which is difficult in this life because we cannot prove to you the hereafter. That's where the call of Satan has so much more weight, so much more heavy it is in this life, because he shows you the life of this world. You can touch, feel, see, hear it. You can sense it with your interface, the body that you're in. Yeah. Whereas the hereafter, you must look deep into your heart. You must go deep into your heart and uncover that truth like I have. I know it. I know exactly what it is. But you can't see it, and I can't show you, because only I can see it. You will see it when you decide to see it, and God lets you. It's as simple as that. So, I'm going to call you to that, but I can't prove it except with these books, all the examples that are on the earth that no generation has lived on forever. Every generation has been destroyed. There's no man who has had perpetual life. Neither will you nor I. That's where you need to start from. That is the clear deception. You're going to die. How can this be serious? Yeah. Anyway, so that's why what I call you to, you will never listen to. Because I can't really prove it except with these books and giving you examples and metaphors about the hereafter. The here I can tell you exactly what's going on, but you won't even listen to that because you've fallen for the lies of Satan's and rejectors and your own soul's desires. So it's a lopsided affair here, and we are at a disadvantage, the messengers of God, because we can't really prove it to you. But when we do, when we bring you a sign like Jesus brought signs and Moses, you still reject it because your soul's desire overcomes the righteousness, the piousness that you need to follow. And unless you follow that path, you're going to go to the path of Satan, and he's going to tell you this that day. So let's go to another point in the Quran, another place in chapter 59. Verse 16. So it says, like example of the Satan, behold, he says to the man, reject. But when rejects, he says, surely I free from you. Surely I fear God, Lord of the knowing. So look at this betrayal. He's commanding you. He's telling you, reject. He tells you, the man, reject. But when you reject, he's going to free from you. So how does this work? It's example that I gave you, that when you do whatever Satan tells you, and then when he's done with you, he's going to turn from you. That's exactly. He wants you to reject. So he'll keep commanding you to reject until you reject. Then he'll free from you. Then he'll say, I free from you, I fear God, Lord of the knowing. He fears God, by the way, Satan. He knows what his place is. His place is hell. The fire of hell. It exists. I keep telling you, it exists beneath our feet. They're burning down there. People are burning right now down there. Yeah, the ones that have died. A lot of them are burning. Yeah, most of them are burning like they will every time. So look at this example. So here it is. Satan tells you reject, reject, reject. When you do what he tells him, he frees from you. Bye bye. I'm done with you. Look at the messenger. He will keep telling you, believe, 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 believe. I'm not going to tell you to reject, reject, reject God. I'm going to tell you believe, believe, believe God and reject Satan. Satan is saying believe me and reject God. It's opposite. It's opposite. So when I keep telling you believe, 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 and you believe, I will take you in my own company. I will not reject you after that. He's going to do the opposite to you. That's what's going to happen. And that's going to take you guys to hell. Whereas I will never push you away for doing what I tell you to do. It's going to be when you don't do what I tell you to do, I will push you away. When you reject God, I will reject you. That's doing against what I'm saying. And Satan will keep telling you to reject God, and when you reject God, he will free from you. He will reject you as well. Yeah? But he's telling you to reject God while I'm telling you not to reject God. It's opposite. But at the end of that, if it's the end is that you reject God and I tell you to believe, I will reject you. He will tell you to reject God and you will reject God and he will reject you. So in the end, both the messenger and the Satan will reject you when you actually reject God, i.e. rejecting the existence of God, or rejecting his angels, rejecting the books of God, rejecting the messengers of God, rejecting the hereafter. That's it. That is the actual rejection of God. That's the highest rejection of God. There are many other below it, by disobeying things that God tells you, and a lot of things He will forgive you for that. I mean, if we're going to be tasked for accounting everything we have not done that God tells you, we're all going to hell. I mean, like including me and every other messenger, almost every other messenger except Jesus. So this is how it works. He is a betrayer. His betrayal is clear. He will keep telling you, reject, 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 reject. When you reject, He'll run away. And He will keep telling you that, and if you keep believing. So He will keep bothering you till you reject, yeah? And then He'll run away. And we'll keep telling you, believe, 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 until you reject, and then we'll run away as well. But there's a difference, yeah? If you can see the subtle difference, you have a little hard to see. Anyway, this is what I want to tell you about Satan and his absolute, total betrayal. A betrayer, a hypocrite, a conniver against man, his enemy. God has told you, he's an enemy clear to you. He comes from within, he comes from without, because of your soul's destitution, because of the lack of faith and conviction you have in the reality that exists around you. You make stories of this reality. You don't live the reality the way it needs to be lived, which is that it's a hoax, it's a deception, the highest deception of God, because He's testing you to see if you will see the absolute insanity of this life. And I'm saying that with a little grain of salt and tongue-in-cheek, because there's a sincerity in this life as well for you to save your soul. But you want to save your life and perpetuate your life and your riches instead of turning to God, accepting you're a piece of shit in front of Him, and asking His forgiveness over and over every day for the evils that you do. Anyway, peace.